Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita as it is, Chapter 3, the last section. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Raghav Swami Nityanamine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 3, the last section. Arjuna Vacha Ata Kena Prayuktoyam Papam Charati Purushaha Anichanapi Varshneya Balad Eva Niyojitaha. Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly as if engaged by force? So Arjuna is asking a practical question here. Till now Krishna was saying that one should act in an exemplary manner. But sometimes it happens that somebody commits some kind of sin unknowingly. We see the history, and Parikshit Maharaj in the Srimad Bhagavatam also committed a mistake by putting a snake around a rishi. Although he was a very pious personality, so it happens to the best of the best. But in this case, Arjuna is asking, generally, a general person, why is somebody forced? As though it is forced, it becomes a part of his nature. Sometimes we have the right ideas, but when we try to talk or try to act, things go wrong. Why? Why is this? Why is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly? So that is the question. So Krishna answers very beautifully. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajo Gunat Samudbhavaha Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyanam Miha Vairinam. Supreme Personality of God, it said it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. So, Krishna begins to answer saying that it is lust only, Arjuna, because of contact with the mode of passion. And he says it is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. So lust. Lust means not just sexual attraction, but lust means trying to enjoy this world in one way or the other. Somebody wants to enjoy rash driving, so they drink and they drive rashly, trying to speed and have some fun, trying to enjoy. Go to disco and have a dance, or just do some mischief. So lust means everything by which we want to enjoy this world separately from Krishna. So that is born out of the material mode of passion. So passion means Rajoguna. There is Sattva Guna, mode of goodness, and there is passion, mode of ignorance is the lowest mode. But passion is somewhere in the middle. This material world is said it is run by the mode of passion because everybody is passionate to achieve something. So there is passion. So passion causes the bodily identification. There is a contact between a man and a woman because of bodily identification. So in this material world, this mode of passion, too much mode of passion leads to mode of ignorance. What Krishna is trying to say is, as long as we are in passion, Rajoguna, as long as we don't purify ourselves, this mode of passion, it has already been explained earlier that the modes act on an individual. The modes of material nature, they act on a person. For example, if you go into a room which is completely hot, you will naturally sweat. You don't have to do anything. So that heat acts on you. So similarly, the mode of passion acts on an individual. So these modes, as much as we acquire them, they act on us. So by nature, the mode of passion is prevalent in this Kali Yuga, mode of passion and mode of ignorance. And then one will, if you see, very rarely do you find students of character today. Everybody is a smoker or a drunkard among all the students. And that is all mode of passion, because the mode is acquired, because we are all dirty. Nobody is clean, nobody is fresh always. People eat meat, people try to watch movies and try to enjoy. So this is all mode of passion, and once you get into this habit, once you get polluted, very difficult to come out of it, and later transformed into wrath. Then such people become everyone for himself. That is how the society is running. It is the wrath, which is all devouring sinful enemy of this world. धूमेनाव्रियते वह्निर् यथा दर्शो मलेन च यथोल्बेनावृतो गर्भास्तथा तेनेदम् आवृतम्. As fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of his lust. Fire is covered by smoke is compared to the human species of life. Human being is very close to spiritual understanding, so he is considered like a spark. And when this spark is fanned, there is fire, the blazing fire of spiritual life. So if we see, when fire is covered by smoke, if we fan it a little, it can turn into a blazing fire. So this is the situation of a soul who is in the human form of life. Mirror covered by dust. So we can see a tiger there. So animals are considered in this category. We see elephants, cows, they are very close to human understanding. An elephant also serves in many temples. And we see that it carries deities and it can attain higher destinations. Similarly, the cows have a special relationship with humans, and they are the dearmost servants of Krishna. Anyone who gets a cow body, he definitely gets a sattvic birth in the next life. And if we train the cow to serve Krishna, that is, if we use cow's milk for the service of Krishna, if we use the cow urine for all purificatory purposes, the cow dung for cooking and many other purposes, and all this cooking, this food can be offered to Krishna. The cow actually provides all the ingredients for yajna. By engaging all the ingredients of the cow to serve Krishna, we are also benefited and the cow is also benefited. And by doing so, that cow also attains a higher destination. Recently, I also heard the story of a cow which left its body in the temple courtyard. The day the cow came to know it was about to leave its body, it came early morning to the temple on that day and was just sitting there looking at the deity of the Lord, sitting outside the temple near the door, near to the Tulsi. And then by afternoon, sitting at that same place close to Tulsi Devi, the cow left its body. So the cow, being in contact with the devotees in a holy place, actually got some spiritual knowledge. So that is the situation in animal life. However, embryo covered by the womb, so it's like the trees and other living entities in tamas, who are totally immobile. It is said, if somebody wants to exhibit lust, somebody wants to stay naked always, like they have these beaches and everything, so then they are given the birth of a tree so that they can exhibit their lust. So lust is exhibited in different ways. But there is always hope. As long as the chanting of the holy names of Krishna goes on, every living entity is benefited and they can attain higher destination. Avrutam jnanam etena jnanino nitya vairina kamarupena kaunteya dushpurena nalena cha. Thus the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. It is said lust is never satisfied. Manusmriti says satisfying lust is like putting ghee into fire. So when we put ghee into fire, for a moment it appears as though the fire is gone, but then it burns double. It is similar to sex desire. The more you have sex, the more you want sex. So that is how it is, lust is multiplied. So we see a picture of Krishna and Radha there. So that is actually real love. Lust is a reflection of this spiritual love. Everyone wants to imitate Radha and Krishna. So every living entity in this material world is trying to lust, is trying to enjoy in this material world. Therefore, Krishna says that one should turn this lust into love, because lust is never satisfied. There should be a point of satiation, but lust is never satisfied. Whereas a self-realized person is in love with the Lord and that makes him satisfied, whereas lust, material lust, is never satisfied. Indriyani manobuddhir asya dhishtanam uchyate eter vimohatye esha dhanam avrata dehinam. The senses, the mind and intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. So, it is like you see this world wearing on a particular color of goggles. So if somebody wears a red glass and tries to look at things, they will all appear red, although they are not. So similarly, when lust covers your real knowledge, when lust covers the mind, when lust covers the intelligence, he looks at this world as an object of enjoyment. So Krishna is saying what needs to be cleaned. So this lust covers our thinking, agitates the mind, agitates the intelligence, and then you look at the same object as an object of enjoyment. Just like Chanakya Pandit says, every woman other than your wife should be looked at like a mother, whereas today's movies and other things train us to look at every woman as an object of enjoyment. So similarly, a woman looks at a man similarly. So lust covers the mind. So when this covering is cleansed, only then we will be able to see the world with real knowledge in the real sense. Tasmatvam indriyani adau niyamya bharatarshava papmanam prajahi enam jnana vijnana nashanam. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. So Krishna is asking Arjuna to disturb this enemy, to kill this enemy before the enemy disturbs you and kills you. So we should identify this lust and we should destroy this lust. So what is the formula? So Krishna gives the clue. It is mode of passion. So we should come to the mode of goodness. So we should come to Sattva Guna. That is getting up early, chanting the holy names, taking bath, remaining fresh. So this is how it is. So coming to Sattva Guna means, like there are three pictures here, one should eat the proper food, proper diet. With proper food should be medicine. We will see this later on in very much detail. One should also chant Hare Krishna regularly and chant for the pleasure of Krishna, and one should read proper scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. By doing these activities, one can conquer lust. So spiritual activities, one should do practical spiritual activities, and then this lust can be transformed into love. Indriyani paranyahur indriyebhyah param manaha manasastu para buddhir yo buddhe parasastu saha. The working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind, and the soul is even higher than the intelligence. So Krishna is giving a clue. So the senses drive the body, and the mind drives the senses, and intelligence drives the mind. But the soul is actually the highest or the topmost level of control. But to reach this level, one has to purify. So intelligence should be purified first. So intelligence should be purified by reading the scriptures, by chanting Hare Krishna, by spiritual activity. Then, when intelligence is proper, then the mind will try to look for proper engagement. Whereas if our intelligence is lusty, then we will engage the mind and the senses in looking for objects of lust. So if we take our body, mind and intelligence to a proper place, for example, if you come to a temple, the body, mind and senses are engaged in higher occupation. Whereas if you go to a bar, then the body, mind and senses are in the wrong place. They will be bombarded with nonsensical music, drinks, food. So at every level there is contamination. So from intelligence, so one should have proper spiritual intelligence. Evam buddhe param buddhva samsthabhyatmanam atmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kama rupam durasadam. Thus, knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind and intelligence, O mighty armed Arjuna, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, and thus by spiritual strength conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. So insatiable means you can never satisfy lust. So one should develop strong intelligence. So Krishna has put forward a point here that the result of karma yoga is purified, deliberate intelligence. By acting in this world for the satisfaction of Vishnu, one gains purification. And what is that purification? There is purification of body, there is purification of mind, but the most important, purification of intelligence. And when one gains good intelligence, spiritual intelligence, he is able to apply the principle of Krishna consciousness and then conquer this enemy known as lust. Vishnu is in charge of mode of goodness, and one can have mode of goodness or sattva guna only by the worship of Lord Vishnu. So intelligence, spiritual intelligence is Lord Vishnu. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So we'll start with the 4th chapter in the next video.